Yes, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is well. Apologies if I do sound like Sean Dyche. I am just getting over a bit of a sore throat. Another interesting Premier League game week. Of course, Arsenal played last night. Man City destroying Fulham. We have got a new manager, and Man United equalised at the diff against West Ham. FA Cup is upon us, so there's no rest for the wicked. Some interesting games. I think the standout game is Aston Villa playing Newcastle. Terry, mate, how's things?
Yeah, good. I mean, look, it was a very good week of football for the title race with City winning and Arsenal dropping points. But from someone who talks to football fans for a job, and I enjoy my job, it's a very bad week because United drew. They lose a bit of chest. Chelsea fans, of course, they're enjoying going for Arsenal today, and rightfully so. But they drew, so that they're falling a bit. Liverpool fans are the strangest. I get less passionate reactions from them and less passionate conversations and less intriguing conversations when they win at the moment compared to when they lose. They win and it's like, yeah, but we'll lose the next one. They lose and there seems to be some more vim in their voice. City fans are City fans, and Arsenal fans, listen, man, I know you guys are feeling the pressure. But they're the strangest bunch at the moment. And I'm not talking about the Arteta outers. We know what level of freak some of those guys are when you see them happy their team might bottle a league title. It's kind of weird to get a hard on over that. But it's the guys that all season have been writing off the league wrongfully, because there's a lot of good teams in this league, who expected to have won the league by now, which is crazy because the earliest it's ever been won is the middle of April, who are now losing their minds because they're only 4 points clear. It's been a weird season. I can't lie to you. It's been a weird season where I can't lie to you. In the last week has sort of been as I say, I'm very fortunate to have the job that I do where I talk to so many hundreds, thousands, including comments of fans from different clubs every single week. And it's a very weird cocktail of emotions at the moment, right across the board, if that makes sense. Like, everyone's got a lot of chest until you ask them a serious question. Oh, I think Arsenal are crap. Oh, do you think they'll not win the league? No, they'll probably win it though. Oh, okay. Oh, City are on a rise. Oh, you think City are going to win the league? Maybe. No, I don't think so. What are you saying then? Do you get where I'm coming from? It's all, Liverpool, they look really good in the last 2 games. Oh, do you think they'll make the top 4 now then? Genuine question. Oh, I'm really not sure, mate. I don't know. Chelsea, look at that, 4 wins in a row. We're back, baby. What trophies do you think you can go on to win some trophies? How long do you think this winning run will keep going for? Oh, I don't know. If don't get the tactics right, it could all fall apart again next week. There seems to be across all and City fans are no different this year. It was only that last-minute winner, that penalty against Liverpool. They went from saying the season's over to we can win it. They draw another game and it'll be, we're done again now. It seems like a weird season where every single fan base has just lost their confidence, and all it takes is one bad result and the world is caving in. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Do you know what as well? It almost feels like last night, looking on the socials, there's a momentum shift away from the Arsenal fans, and they are still 4 points clear, but it almost feels like they are just trying to concede the title before it's already done. And like you said, they do need to remain calm. You know, you've still got a lot of your tough fixtures that you are playing at home. You know, the Chelsea game, for instance, which is massive coming up. What did you kind of make of their result yesterday? I mean, they weren't nowhere near their best. For the first half, they were quite poor. Second half, Odegaard comes on. You know, there's a bit more togetherness, a bit more tempo, a bit more of what we kind of expect from Arsenal. But what did you kind of make of, you know, the game, the first half, and their overall performance?
I thought the first half was poor, to be honest with you. I think they lacked confidence. They lacked authority on the ball. I thought Eze, and look, there are big conversations happening about Eze at the minute. I'm going to keep the energy for him that I had for Viets and that I have right now for Delap and Gittins at Chelsea as examples. I had it for Šeško, who looks like he's maybe turned a bit of a corner. He started really well, but he's really struggling for confidence. And he was given an opportunity last night and he just ghosted the game. It was almost like he didn't want the ball. And he was poor. They were poor overall. At the same time, though, I think we've got to be really, really careful. It's been a horrible season for slamming our own league. We all know it's the most entertaining and the most watched. That's why it's the most watched, because it's the most entertaining consistently. Globally, I'm talking about here. Fans, mate, like last year, Man United fans didn't enjoy the Premier League because of how bad we were. But there's millions of people around the world, tens of, if not hundreds of millions, that tune in that don't even support any of the Premier League teams, but they like what we do. So I think we've got to be careful not to diminish our own league. And in that, you can't take things away from Brentford. They were amazing. Defended in, they know how, they're a team that can press really hard, but then get back very quickly into a really condensed, compact group that make it hard for you to break down. And they were great at it last night. They counter-attacked brilliantly. When they had possession, they moved the ball with great zip. 2, 3, 4 passes, and they're in and around the edge of your box, if not through on goal. They were a very, very well-drilled team, one of the best run clubs in the country. And we all got taught a lesson, because most people were talking about maybe them going down after losing their best players and Keith Andrews being promoted from set-piece coach to manager. And they've schooled every single one of us. And they're a very good side. And we know how good Premier League teams are based on how well so far we've been doing in Europe. I think we're one of the only nations. We had 9 teams in Europe, more than anybody else. All 9 are still in Europe, and highly likely that all 9 are in the full knockout phases of all those European competitions. Very, very strong. So it's double-edged for me. They were nowhere near the level they want to be, Arsenal. Individuals like Eze, Saka when he came on as an example, I think rightfully criticised for not doing anywhere near enough. But I don't want to take anything away from Brentford, who I thought were magnificent.
Do you know what as well I find really interesting is the Man City fans have now all of a sudden come out and said, we're in the race now. Like you weren't in the race since the start of the season. The Man City fans have come out with huge chest, acting like, oh, Arsenal are going to completely fall apart. Arsenal are going to completely bottle the league. I don't know if you saw that. I think his name is Christian on AFTV, and he basically was saying, I think Gal shared it on Twitter, that Arsenal fans just need to relax and calm down. When the City fans throw the fish in the water, all they're hoping for is to get a bite constantly, and all they keep doing is riding up Arsenal fans. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but every single time they lose or draw a game, there's a bigger meltdown online with Arsenal than it comes to any other team in the league at the moment, purely because they need to win the league. And that meltdown, I feel like if they do not get the right result against Wolves, their fans will just completely cave in. I don't know if you feel the same about that. But...
No, I don't disagree. I've been saying it maybe for the last. If you look at 2026, I think 7 games I think have been played, and I think they have 2. I'm going to get that wrong. I'm actually going to go and look. But it's not a great record so far in 2026. However, the last 7 games, I think their points total is identical to that of Man City's. So they haven't actually lost any ground. Now, I understand the train of thought, which is, so from the start of the year, they played one in the Premier League. I'm talking, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games so far in 2026, 3 wins, 3 draws, and a defeat. So they've got 12 points from those games. I think City also have 12 points from those games. Now, I totally agree that there's been opportunities in that period to advance on Manchester City. At the same time, you haven't lost any ground. And I don't think they should completely discard the draws against Liverpool, the draw against Forest and last night, and the loss against United. They can't just go, that's okay. There's nothing to be concerned about, nothing to criticize, nothing to push back on. But there doesn't ever seem to be a neutral ground. And I had comments last night on my video, Terry again last night, all he did was defend Arsenal. I didn't. I criticised their performance. I criticised lots of players. I said it was nowhere near good enough. I said they deserved to lose. I said Gabriel was lucky to not see a second yellow card. But at the same time, I can't advocate that Arsenal fans are losing their minds too early. I can't push all season that this is going to be a narrow title race and going to go down to the wire. I can't state that they're only the marginal favourites and they're not going to run away with it due to the quality of the league. And then every time there's a slip up, project, oh my God, it's over, it's finished. because it's kind of going how I expected it to. Not each individual game, because no one ever gets their every single score prediction right. But I'm just not surprised that the league's close. Oh, but you've criticised City this year and said they're nowhere near their highest level. They're not. But I'm also not claiming that this Arsenal team is as good as their Centurions or as good as their treble-winning team. So it's the problem that we have, and I think it's something that's really hurting content creation. And the mainstream media is the worst for this, because all they do themselves, and when they have fans that go on their shows, is they push for the most extreme opinions and examples every time. And we're losing sight of the middle ground. And everything's becoming feast or famine in terms of the reaction from supporters. So you saw it when I've seen it in the sort of the Arsenal fan base is there because they're in the title race. The other fan bases is no feast or famine because they're just so jaded with a win and a loss and a win and a loss and a win and a loss, and they're up and they're just exhausted with it now. But it's if Arsenal beat Wolves and then beat Spurs and City drop points and get a draw, and they go back to being 6 points clear of them, but actually 9 points ahead because they've played an extra game because of the Carabao Cup. It will be, wow, we're back, we're winning the league, it's going to be easy, from these same guys that are now depressed when, again, yes, you've got a 6 point lead, 9 with the extra game, and there's pressure on City, but keep calm. There's still a long way to go. Maybe if City lose their next 3 games after that and you end up 15, 16, 17 points clear, then do that. But it hasn't happened yet. And I just feel it's because people are setting, and Arteta out has started this trend. And I feel that what you get with the positive Arsenal fans is they're trying to counteract it, but they behave the same way, of setting unrealistic expectations. And then when they're not met, you're upset and you're angry. The idea you're going to run away with the league by February is ridiculous. You are a very good team. You know, some great players in your side, and you're in all 4 competitions. And by the end of the season, you could achieve amazing history for your football club. Premier League winners, you could win a Premier League and Champions League. You're still in all 4 comps. You could win the quad right now. I don't think it will happen, but you could win the quad right now. And you could end the season and go with 1, 2, 3, 4 trophies. Wow, what an amazing year. But it's not defined by just being an amazing year because you won a league title at a canter. In fact, I believe winning league titles like this, where there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 very hard away games that everybody has to play, when it's a narrow title race, when you're in all the competitions, so therefore you're playing 2 games a week every single week. I believe winning it at the end, even if you only win it on, I don't know, 83 points, that is a better achievement than only winning 1 trophy, but winning the Premier League at a canter with 98 points. I believe you've had a better season if you win 2 or 3 trophies and if you actually overcome real adversity. Now, of course, I understand why Arsenal fans want to win at a canter, because they don't want to feel the pressure they're feeling now. But when you're up against good teams, when you're in a really strong league, and the Premier League is at a very strong point right now comparatively to our European peers, it's hard to win, and this is normal. And I just feel, again, maybe it's easy for me because I'm not emotionally attached to it, but I'm watching the meltdowns, and I agree with Christian 100%. It's like, act like you've been here before. But I suppose for a certain generation of Gooner, all they ever remember is title races that end in defeat. So therefore, the PTSD is coming back in. But yeah, it wasn't a great night last night. But let's look at the other side. They go away to Wolves next week. I don't care about last night. They're expected to win that game, and they will go to being 7 points clear. Yes,
and there will be a game ahead for the rest of the season.
Yeah, right till very late in the season. That game in hand against the City will have against Palace, it's likely to be scheduled for the end of April, if not the middle part of May, depending upon City's Champions League campaigns. So you've got the opportunity of gaining a 3-point advantage for a long period of time. Relax. I think your team needs you to be relaxed. I think the team needs you to not lose your minds every 5 minutes. And do you know what? Counterbalance don't know if you're right or wrong, because it's a bit of fun amongst fans. Counterbalance everything being said by rival. I mean, I'm seeing everyone come for Arsenal today, and a lot of their fans are just, I'm going to go sit here under this rock and take it. And I sit there and think, I wish that was my club. I wish it was United, because I'll be fighting back. I'm seeing people post their last 6, 7 games, go, no way a team with this record in the last 7 games can win the league. It's the exact same record as City that are behind them. You know what I mean? And it's like, fight back. And by the way, just have some fun with it. Have some fun with it. Because I do think there'll be some Arsenal fans, if they go on to win the league, that are going to regret hiding away at every sign of trouble and not enjoying it and embracing it. It's part of the fun of being in a title race. But look, I'm not an Arsenal fan. They can feel how they want. They can do what they want. I just feel, enjoy it and embrace it a little bit more for me.
Do you know what's really interesting as well is the fact that, like you said there, both teams are still in, still potentially both teams could do the quad. And because of, I think they've lost, 3 games in all competitions this season, and they've nearly played 40. I mean, it's just, and they've drawn 6? So they've won over 30 out of their 40 games this season, or something stupid like that. But whenever there is a bad result, it doesn't, their fans just lose their patience. Do you think Man City will be looking at last night's result, licking their lips? Do you think City now are thinking, we've got you where we want you. You've already finished second a few times. And is there now a debate? I know they've spent a lot of money, but is there now a debate that because of the amount of key players that City have let go over the years, and the only real leaders in that team are the Rodris and the Bernardo Silvas, and maybe you could argue Haaland, is there also a debate that if Guardiola wins the league with this City team, his reputation as a manager goes even higher?
Yeah, look, I think it does. Like one of the areas I've not been critical of Pep Guardiola with. It's not a criticism. It's just that I'd like to see him in that scenario when you don't have a team that's complete. They've got a very good team, by the way. So when they signed Semenyo and Guehi, and this is why I always speak the truth as I see it early, because then you're not looking like a hater later on. And I said that there has to be a big expectation on them to win the league now, because it's the better part of 600 million was invested into this already £1 billion valued squad over the past 12 months. The hugest wage bill, massive money being spent, the best manager of a generation, the best striker of a generation, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They've just signed another top centre-back. Diaz is back, by the way. They've got brilliant midfield players. They've got wonderful creators, got excellent wingers. Yes, there's some injuries, but all teams suffer with that. And it's like there had to be an expectation on them to win the league. But equally, it's not a complete City team. It's not a City team at the peak of its powers. And the reason why I think it's massive for Pep and his legacy if he wins it. Now, it takes nothing away from a legacy if he doesn't, but what can add to it is that United had teams, and the 1997 Man United team, as an example, the 2003 Man United team that won the league, as an example, not the best, not the greatest, but a team that weren't quite complete. Wasn't maybe the best, didn't do so well in Europe at times, and, had struggles in the season, but found a way to win. That for me is gives you a different edge to your managerial CV. Because often if you're the best team by a country mile, yes, you deserve credit for helping to build it. But actually, how much competition do you have in winning it? Coming through the adversity and winning, I think sometimes shows a different type of champion. So it'd be massive for City, and they will be licking their lips. But at the same time, I think there'll be an air of trepidation. And what I mean by that is Bernardo Silva himself said, if we would have lost that game to Liverpool, we think the title would have been over. So just over a week ago, the same City players, less than a week ago, those same City players and City fans saying, oh, it's on, we're going to catch them, we're there, we're back, were saying it's over. Until a stupid decision from Alisson and a contentious penalty because the ball was going out of play, they said their title race was over. So that logic, and this is what I mean by being logical instead of emotional at times, that logic dictates that if Arsenal go 7 points ahead and then they lose again, they inexplicably lose this week to Newcastle, and Arsenal then beat Spurs, they'd go 10 points clear in total, 7 points if you exclude the extra game they've played. That's basically where they would have been before that penalty against Liverpool. Does that mean the title race is over? Equally, by the way, I say no. I still think it's open and can happen. But that's why I also don't think this City team feels like I don't think this City team is looking at this title race like they did 3 years ago and saying, we've got them now. Because I don't think they're as confident in themselves yet as they also were. And that's something that, again, this is why the Arsenal fans have got to fight back, because I think everything City fans are doing is to create instability in the fan base, panicking in the fan base. TalkSport are at it as well. They enjoy it. TalkSport, when Arsenal win, if you go and look at their socials, look at their clips, barely a video ever gets posted. 5 have been posted since last night after the defeat because their fans are panicking. And it's all part of the game. And what I think Arsenal have to do is play the game back. Put that pressure on them back. Have some fun with it. It may backfire and they end up winning the league and there's some tweets that you don't particularly like. But so what? You're talking about football. You're not posting a manifesto about how to fix the country that ends up being completely wrong, false, and ridiculous, and you lose your job over it. Fuck me. It's football. I quote tweeted my prediction about Frank in the summer. Went a little bit viral, but my channel's still here. I haven't died.
Everyone gets predictions wrong, don't they? That's part of the game.
And you've got to play it. And I think that's what's missing from football at the minute. There is a lack. I get why Man United fans at Amram didn't have any confidence, right? Because we were winning 1 game a month. But when you're a team that's winning 60, 70% of your games and has done consistently for 3 or 4 years, why are you losing so much confidence after a draw? I find it very weird, personally, especially with the big one you were giving it 2 weeks ago. It's like, calm down a little bit. Either be neutral and conservative and respectful and balanced all the time, or just or maintain the kind of the chest. I just find it really sort of I just find it like you disappear for 2 weeks, then you'll come back after a win going, we're back, and I'm like, where you been? Because I enjoy I enjoy the conversations. I love that. Look, my viewers are always there, my people always tune in, but it's the quality of the conversation that changes, if that makes sense. And I'm like, where you guys gone, man? Show some chest.
This run of game, excuse me, sound like Sean Dyche again. This run of games here for Man City: West Ham away, Forest at home, Leeds away, and Newcastle and Palace in there. They play 4 of the bottom 6 in space of 5 games. Now I don't want to jinx City here, but for me personally, I don't think they'll drop a point, which is a big shout because City have done that quite a lot this season, where they've won a few games, then they've fallen off. I think they'll make a number of changes tomorrow, go out there and put 5 or 6 past Salford, then a number of changes against Newcastle at the moment. I actually think Eddie Howe could get sacked the way they're playing. I know they beat us, but everyone beats us. Leeds away is tough, but I think they'll win. West Ham away is tough, but I think they'll win. If City go on to win these next 5 league games, which is a big shout, let's have a look who Arsenal have got to play in that time as well. I think they've got to play Chelsea in there.
Arsenal play Wolves and Spurs and Chelsea. I know they're next 3 because I did a show on that about that subject this morning.
Yeah, so their run of games up to the cup final is Wigan Sunday. Wolves. I mean, look, they'll beat Wolves and us comfortably. They'll barely get out of first gear and beat Wolves and us. I think they'll beat Brighton as well because Brighton is slipping down there very, very quickly, and I think they'll beat Everton. That Chelsea game is going to be very, very interesting because I didn't actually realise, but after the cup game, there's a 2.5 week break, isn't there? Because
there's a long break this year, for some reason.
So whoever wins that cup final, that is going to be a long, 2 weeks or so to get back to. I mean, if Arsenal win it, they'll be on cloud 9, and that will give them the mentality to go into the back end of the season and I believe win it. But equally, if City do it, there's going to be that narrative of, well, hang on, you haven't got the minerals. We've just beaten you in a cup final. You're not ready. So this running for both teams up into the cup final, I'd argue City's is a hell of a lot easier. But this is why I said to yesterday, I said on my match reaction, if Arsenal want to win the league, this run of games, you have got to be near on perfect. Because City, even if they don't perform, playing against a Nottingham Forest side that are about to appoint their 4th manager this season, Leeds United are struggling. Crystal Palace is struggling. They just lost to Burnley at home. Whereas Arsenal have got, who knows, of North London derby, new manager bounce. One of the interims we're getting in, I've never even heard of him. But Everton as well. I think Arteta's got 1 point against Dyche or something like that in his last 5 meetings or 4 meetings, whatever it may be. Not Dyche, Moyes, sorry. Do you think Arsenal will slip up anywhere in there?
Yeah, I mean, they could. I mean, do I think they'll slip up? The one that stands out where I think they might is the Chelsea game, because Chelsea are a very good team. But it depends if Chelsea come with any confidence. It depends if Chelsea go and attack them. Then, though, there is this train of thought that if you attack Arsenal, you can get something against them. But then I look at it and go, well, who in their last few games, like when they played Brentford at home, they beat them quite comfortably. Aston Villa didn't overly attack Arsenal, in my personal opinion. It was a very even game, but they attacked them and they did beat them. Could have gone the other way, but they beat them. Everton barely attacked. Brighton barely attacked. They smashed Aston Villa in the next meeting. Bournemouth, most of the teams that have opened up and attacked them a little bit have got beaten. Some teams like Man United and Brentford last night have come out with more positive results, but it's what they do. I think, by the way, my honest opinion now is they beat Wolves. I think they beat Tottenham. I think they might draw with Chelsea if Chelsea are at their best. I think they beat Brighton. I think they beat Everton. So there is the potential in there to drop points. I think the potential to drop it in every game, but my predictions are they might drop points against Chelsea. When I look at City, I think they beat Newcastle. I think they draw against Leeds. I think they beat Forest. I think they beat West Ham. So again, I feel that City will win 3 of their next 4 games. And I think Arsenal, because they actually play 1 extra, I think they win 4 of their next 5 games and they draw in 1 of them. I don't think there'll be much. Forget the extra game for a minute because that'll muddy people's water mathematically. I think there'll be in terms of same games played, I think there'll be a 4-point gap. However, I think there'll be a 7-point gap because of that Wolves game. And after that, the first 2 games are Bournemouth for Arsenal, and then they play Manchester City, and City play, I guess, the first game back after that is, you see what I mean? The first game back away after that international break for City is away at Chelsea. Then they're at home to Arsenal. So, from my point,
last game of the season as well. That's not going to be easy.
My personal predictions are, if we go right up to that Man City Arsenal game right now, I think we just add the points up. I think it's going to be 3-1. Let's just do this now. Sorry, my pen stopped working. 3. I think they'll beat them. I think they'll beat West Ham away. I think they will. Right now, honestly, I think they lose to Chelsea at home. And I think I'll give you my prediction on the Arsenal City game in a moment. Arsenal, I think they beat Wolves. I think they beat Tottenham. I'm going to go over draw against Chelsea. I think they beat Brighton. And I think they beat Everton. And then that first game back, they're at home against Bournemouth. And I think they beat Bournemouth. I think they do. So up until they play each other, City, I predict to accumulate 10 points. There's 1 extra game for Arsenal, so it's going to seem a lot higher, but I'm predicting them to pick 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 points. And remember, I'm actually predicting 3 extra points. The problem that you have is that they play the extra games at 16 points. If that happens, I don't know what's the points total now? I actually haven't looked for both. So that will mean that goes that way.
Arsenal on 57, City on 53.
Arsenal would have 73 points, and City would have 60. There'd be a 10-point gap. The crazy part about it is, if it goes that way, beating City isn't even a necessity, because you could lose to City and you would still have a 7-point gap. If they won their game in hand, ironically, you could lose to City. They could win their game in hand, and you'd be back to where we are today of a 4-point gap. That would be kind of crazy. But I think what Arsenal would do in that regard, if that's the way it happens, then I think Arsenal not play for a draw, but they can draw. And then you just maintain the 10-point difference. And then if that happens, if that game's a draw with 5 games to go, if there's a 10-point gap with 5 games to go, 6 games to go for them, I don't think they turn it around. So it really depends. It's crazy, really, because I think Chelsea and Spurs are going to play a big part in this. Spurs have already taken 4 points off of City this year, and I think they're going to beat Man City in this run-in, because I actually think we're going to see a very good Chelsea in the next few weeks. I think Chelsea are going to win a lot of their games.
Games they've got.
Yeah, and you look at it, I think they draw with Arsenal. I think they lose to Villa. I think they beat Newcastle. I think they beat beat Everton. And where's the Man United game? They play us well before that, I think. Or maybe they don't. Maybe I'm a liar. I thought they played us. No, they don't. They play us a bit later. I think they beat Everton, and I think they beat Man City. I think they play Man United after that. Their game, then they play us. I think they beat Man United as well. I think they're going to go on a really good winning run, Chelsea. I really do.
And then they've got Liverpool and Spurs. Wow. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 2. they've still got to play, well, pretty much every Big Six team.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that run of games there between the 1st of March and the 11th of April is huge for them.
No, of course. So, yeah, look, I understand why there's a lot of nervousness, there's a lot of crashing on people, but I look at the league table now, and City are going to drop points in my opinion, at least 4 more games. I think Arsenal have the potential to drop points in at least 4 more games. I don't think anyone's winning it, even though I've predicted there could be a 10-point gap. By the end of the season, I think it will shrink again. I don't think Arsenal or City will win the league by any more than 3 to 4 points this season. It's going to go right down to the wire.
Interesting. I mean, I'm very much looking. I know we're not in the FA Cup, neither of us, but I do love the FA Cup weekend. I expect it to be one.
Who knocked you out?
Villa.
Yeah, I thought you were in it still. Do you know what? Sometimes with the FA Cup, I get confused between. Yeah, I get confused. But yes, I remember now. By the way, you just seen the news that's broke. Edgar Tudor to Tottenham. He has informed Tottenham he is ready to accept a short-term deal to be the interim coach to the end of the season. I don't know where he's actually managing right now. Is he?
I mean,
he recently
I'm not
left
being horrible, but he could come in and be the best manager in the world. But who is this guy? He's a Croatian. He's coached Juventus. I mean,
he's coached Croatia as well, I think. Is he? No, he hasn't. I'm a lie. No, he's coached a lot in Italy. He's coached Udinese, Marseille, Lazio. He was the Juve coach for like 6 months. But he had a massive 41 win percentage there.
Can I just show you this quickly? This kind of shows you what we're getting ourselves in bed with here. So, I mean, 1.58 points per game at Juventus, 1.9 at Lazio, but he was only there 11 games. He's not got a great history, has he? Let's be honest.
No, I mean, it's one of those managers that I just can't. I can judge it off his record, as in looking at his stats. I don't know anything about him as a manager. Not a thing. Not a thing. Jeez. Not a thing, bruv.
We'll have to put a video on that very, very soon. But look, we are going to wrap up. What sort of content have you got coming out over the weekend?
FA Cup match reactions. I love the FA Cup. One thing I am excited about is I think it's nice to have a little break from the Premier League, in the sense of these games don't necessarily impact the league. I think you can. The only issue with this weekend's Premier League, FA Cup games, is there's very little games that you look at and go, oh, can't wait for that one. There's one, I think Villa versus Newcastle, you get a little bit of that. But what have we got? I mean, Wrexham Ipswich tonight, decent. What we got here? Liverpool Brighton could be a decent game tomorrow night. What else is there? That's it, really. What I'm hoping for is most of the big teams do get through, and I'm hoping the next round of games you get. What would be nice is to go through to I don't even know what the next round is, the fifth round.
Yeah, fifth round.
It'd be nice to go through to the 5th round, and you get a Liverpool City and Arsenal Chelsea, something like that. Because I like it when the bigger teams face each other in the slightly earlier rounds and knock each other out, because then you always get the opportunity of a bit of an underdog story of getting nearer the finals. If you just keep getting the big teams versus the smaller teams in the earlier rounds, you just end up with, and it's not a bad thing, but you just end up with all the big teams in the semi-finals. And it's like, I always like it when when Coventry nearly made the final. I mean, they shouldn't. Fucking went for VAR and knocked us out after being 3-0 down. Like, those stories to me are beautiful, so I'd love to see it. But FA Cup match reactions, really, mate. That's it.
I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll both be putting out lots of content over the weekend, reacting to all the matches. But we'll see you all soon. Drop a like on your way out. We are